All right, cool. All right. All right, domain SEO. Okay, so here's the agenda for today. Domain SEO for beginners. All right, my name is Robert, so I'll be presenting this today. So we'll go through like the intro of domain. What is a domain? You know, where you can buy domain in Singapore. How we go about naming our domain, because there's different ways you can name the domain. You can do the exact search, exact match, things like that, or use your brand within inside the domain. All right, so we're gonna go over like the types of domains. We have like the root domain, we have like top level domains and subdomains and second level domains and country code top level domains. All right, so I'm pretty sure a lot of us work on like international campaigns, so you probably know a lot about the different type of the country level domains, things like that. All right, so domain SEO. So some of the things that we want to consider when like choosing a domain is the domain is important, and we want to look at the exact domains, exact match domains, and the age, because the age plays a big role when it comes to domains. So if you can get like an age domain, which would be good because it already has some Google history and it has some foundation within that domain. And so another one is expired domains, which we'll go over. Using these are domains that people had and it expired, and people usually try to pick them up. And then we also have, is domain extension important for SEO, and also subfolders versus subdomains. All right, so what's next is how we're going to improve our domain, because once you have it, then there's a lot of elements that goes into it to actually start to drive traffic to it and make it much more valuable for yourself or for the client. All right, so moving domain is it recommended, and how you go about moving the domain from another particular domain. All right, so this is pretty much how it works down. Is we have the full domain, which is the HTTPS/www. So how it breaks down is we have the prefix, which can be the HTTPS or the non-HTTPS. So previously, you can get away with just without the S, but now Google is one of ranking factors to have a secure website. So we recommend to have HTTPS. And then you have your subdomain. And then, so usually like with a subdomain, like you can usually, some big sites that have their normal domain, and usually they'll put like maybe help.subdomain so it wasn't bogged down the website. So a lot of times they have like their support or something at the domain, the name of the domain and whatnot. And then you have your extension, which has multiple different types of extensions you can add. All right. So pretty much this is your address for the internet. It's just like offline, you have real estate, you have houses, HDB. So like businesses, this will be your own property online. All right. So where can you buy domains? So for there's many different places you can buy domains, like in Singapore. So one of the most popular ones are like Vodian or Crazy Domains. So Vodian is really good for like .sg domains. So you can, right now they actually have a special for like $5, so you can get as many domains as you like. And so, and one of the good things is you have to also register, like if it's .sg, you have to register with a SingNet. But one of the good things is they also allow you to, they'll host it for you, so you don't actually have to use your business information or whatnot. So, and the other popular ones is like GoDaddy and Namecheap. The one I actually prefer is like Namecheap, which is in the US. And one of the good things about Namecheap is they give you free privacy. Like with Vodian, I think it's like $15 you have to pay for the privacy, but Namecheap they give you for free. So it's a way, so if people do like a who is on your domain, they can see like all your address, everything, phone number, your name. So if you have it protected, then they can't see your information. All right, so choosing a domain name. So how do we choose the perfect name? So first you want to choose like a top level domain. And then also you want to make sure you try to incorporate your targeted keyword. All right. So most of the time you want to maybe do keyword research first and see if you're looking for like a exact match domain, if that already has like good potential or good search volume. So just an add-on to having that exact domain. So now you actually can be first, maybe possibly first in Google, have a high priority of ranking for having an exact domain. So you want to make sure that domain is easy to pronounce and spell. I had a few domains before where I was like, yeah, this is my website, but yeah, I forgot how to spell it. So you want to make sure it's something easy that's catchy. You can just give them your domain name. And so you want to also try to avoid hyphens and double letters. It's just like with, I think SEO Owl, I think they skipped out, they only put the O once. So it's not two O's at the same time. All right, and then also you want to try to keep it short. All right, and then make it unique and make sure the domain name can be a bit flexible, because like I know there's some people that have their name and then the blog name. So then maybe down the road you want to maybe get rid of that domain or sell it off, but it has your name attached to it, so the value may be not so high. So usually I try to keep it generic or with just a keyword focused domain. Like maybe for a client, they might want to have a branded domain with their brand and plus maybe the actual keyword. All right, so we have types of domains. All right, so the root domain is the very top, and after that you have all different type of top level domains. You have education, you have government, you have like .com, .net, and then the next level you have more like AT&T, Google, things like that. So right now, actually, I can show you an example. Like so these are some of the like different, like if you go to Namesheet, like you can see all the different type of domains. You can get XYZ, you can get Inc, you get .game, .app, and then the list goes on and on and on. So most of the time, if you're looking for a domain, if you can't get like maybe a .com, I always try to get a .com, and then after that maybe a .net, and then after that you just have to see. Like me personally, I would maybe go with a .io or maybe a .co, but I try to keep it within the top 3. All right, so yeah, you have many options. So when you're choosing your root domain, I mean your root domain, your extension. All right, so this is how it breaks down. You have the .com is more for like commercials, and like in the US, there's a lot of .coms, because in Singapore you have the .com.sg, things like that, or Australia. Most time in the US is either .com or .gov or something, things like that, or education. So this is pretty much how it breaks down. In the past, like .info was more used for like spam, try out new things, because the domain is like $3, and usually you just try it out first. I'm not sure if it ranks as well as the .com, but info is more known as like info, and .biz is not really so popular. And sometimes I'll go with a .org, but not as much. But this is how the top level domains broke down. All right, so you have the second level domain, which I mentioned. You have the subdomain, and then you have your second level domain. So many domains. All right, and then after that you have your subdirectory. So this is how it pretty much breaks down. Like the subdirectory it can be part of the page, and also a folder where you can put like you have different countries. You have SG, you have AU, so it can be also in that subdirectory. And then after that, if you're not using the subdirectory as a country, then you have like website, or it can be like /blog. Well, here they have blog.hubspot, but it also can go .com, blog, or other different things like categories. So then after that, you have your path, which is the whole URL system. All right. So this is how pretty much .com is the most popular, which is .com, and then this is how it breaks down by country level or whatnot. Okay, all right, so each country has their own, as you probably know, each country has their own like UK, whatnot. So this is how it breaks down. You can pretty much, some countries, it's easier to just get your country, like if you can't get the domain you want, like in Singapore, I purchased, like in the US, I couldn't probably get SingaporeAttractions.com. So I had to go to, in Singapore, all the domains are pretty much available. So you can get, if you can't get it as a .com, you can go to .sg or .com.sg, things like that. All right. So does domain matter? Well, your domain isn't considered to be a direct ranking factor, but there's chance of this, it does matter because, like I mentioned at the beginning, it involves the age of the domain, how you weave in keywords into your domain and whatnot, and so it doesn't play a big role. And when it comes to like exact match domains, so like here we have diapers.com, and before, when I first got into like digital marketing, we used to do a lot of exact match, like we used to, because back then you can rank for a lot of keywords by doing exact match, but Google, they kind of like they had that update, so now you can't really do exact match. Before we used to do like Thai rice cooker.com, and then we just go through a whole list on Amazon, and then they would rank really fast. But since that update, all those exact matches, but there's still opportunity to, because Google really doesn't tell you, if it works or not, but you still have to give it a shot. But so this is how it works. You pretty much just, like I mentioned, you do your keyword research and see how you can try to keep the URL short, not like, Thai rice cooker in Singapore or something. You want to try to keep it short, so it's not like, doesn't really raise a lot of red flags, like that you're really trying to rank for something like super exact match. All right, so these are some of the most expensive domains. Yeah, they actually get pretty high. So so that's why like there's a lot of people like buy domains and just try to resell them, because there's some cases where I had brought a domain. I think I brought like sirdigital.com, and then I let it expire, and then I try to go back again. It's like $3,000. So if you find something really good, you want to try to keep that domain, because at times it might not be good for yourself, but somebody else will like really snatch it up from you. So yeah, whatever domain you choose, if you make sure you try to keep on to it, or it might end up here.
What are these years?
So these are all the transactions.
Yeah.
So you see that in 2010 it was transacted. The first one is transacted for 12
Oh, that
to
was the
13 million, like in 2010. Yeah.
First year of the domain.
No, the transaction.
The transaction
year.
it can be a very old domain, but it was
The
transacted
year
in
that
that
it
year.
was.
Yeah. So this show how much like people are willing to pay for a domain name. Be it for SEO benefit, or be it for just how they like that name, the brand value of that name itself.
Yeah,
Is it cheaper today than it was in 2010?
it could go up. Yeah, that's like every time I see this list, I think back, wow, I could have like brought like a lot of these domains if I was in the domain like apartment.com, all these different ones. But yeah, now you got to be really, really creative now to get like, even to get like three-letter domains, maybe 4 letters, quite hard nowadays. So those are like, yeah, you got to get really creative and try to come up with something that that's brandable or whatnot. Yeah. All right. So when does it work? All right, so you want to try to like,
So when does exact match domain not work is when you have like a very low quality, or like a semi so-called like exact match domain that maybe look like say plumbersingapore.com. So this owner, maybe they purchase this right with the intention of just like building up like a lead generation website, and then with the intention of like just like in a way stuffing keywords in and all this. So that is where the risk will be very high, because like Google will tell that, oh, there's like this website is actually set up just for lead generation. There's no business of that particular name that's actually associated with that and all. So that's where it doesn't work anymore in terms of like what the exact match domain might be purchased to work for. Yeah. So there's also another terminology called partial match domain also. So partial match means to say that that is keyword that's included. So we actually make the brand like more relevant, and when the users would actually see the domain name itself, they know what it is and what does they do lah. So I think a good example is like firstpagedigital.com.sg. So you know that it's a digital agency, and you also know that it's a first page as well. Then in terms of best practice when like choosing domain name, right? I mean, it's really come to like trying to see what's the brand you want to set up, what's the website for, and then to actually like match that domain to what you want to do at the end of the day. So ultimately, right, domain is still a consideration, but then it's if you have already bought your domain, or it's not the end of the day. So end of the day, it's still like the good old building up content, link building, and also like fulfilling the user experience of the website that this website is actually created for, that actually ultimately matters.
All right, so yeah, so the domain age, like I mentioned at the beginning, it actually plays a factor when it comes to having age. So like, I mean, you can have a brand new domain, but it might take time, because usually with an age domain, it possibly might already have some DR, so it might have some value to it, versus like a new domain where you're starting off from scratch. You have to build the links, you got to put the content, and it might take some time. Usually, like me, I did a site at the beginning of this year just as a test. It took me about maybe 3 months just to actually see, some GSE traffic coming through. But yeah, but if it was maybe an age domain that's been sitting around for a while, and I put content on that website and start to build backlinks, then you'll actually start to see, some progress much faster than a domain that you had to start from scratch. You just purchase it. All right. So there's I think there's another slide for that one. Okay. Yeah. So another way is they have ways that you can get expired domains. So you can actually go to like places like Google. They have like GoDaddy. They have like an auction. So you can go there to try to pick up expired domains. You have a website also called like expireddomains.net. And there's many other tools out there or services where you can try to pick up domains before they expire. And once they expire, then you can take over it. So, but one of the things you want to make sure when you get an expired domain is that it matches, the brand or your the vision that you're trying to see your domain to go. You just want to pick up a expired domain that's on a niche that just because it has really good DR and the age is really good, but it doesn't fit your direction or the client's direction. So this is one of the things. And also one of the things when you get an expired domain, you want to make sure that it's not like, might be a company that just let it go by accident, and then you take over that domain, but you actually can maybe get in legal trouble because maybe there was an accident and they can maybe go to court and try to get that domain back because maybe they didn't put like auto renew or whatnot. So those are some of the things you want to also take in consideration. But if you can get a good expired domain, then you can actually get a head start on everybody else. But there's other tools like Scrapebox, which our previous technical director, he would just sit back and just scrape the whole internet and just get as many expired domains. And that, because once you get the expired domain, there's ways you can rebuild that website. You can go to like web archive, and you can actually see what that website was before. And sometimes you can take that content if they already have content on there, or just try to rebuild that website with the same link structure and URL structure. And so you can pretty much start where they left off at. So that's one of the ways you can use expired domains. All right, so then we have domain extensions. So we have the .com versus the .co. So most people will prefer, .com over a .co. I mean, I tried having like .co, but then some people might think it's a .com, and then it might think it's just a misprint or whatnot. So personally, try it, like I mentioned, you want to go with .com, which is the #1 priority. And then after that, you can see if you want to go with a .net. But most of the time, you may want to just try to change up the direction or your keyword or your brand and somehow come up with different acronyms or whatnot, so you can try to get the .com. Because the benefits is, for like, and then you also have country level domains. So this is also good for like targeting like for your local market. So if I'm trying to, when I set up a website recently, I brought it as .com, but I want to target like Singapore. So then I have to optimize everything on my website for like Singapore. But whereas I had a .sg, then it was start to rank much faster within that country. So most of the times, like bigger clients, they will always have their country level TLD for that country, so they can actually rank in that country, either is by subfolder or they have an actual domain for each country. All right. And then also, sorry, we have like the subdomain versus the subdirectory. All right, so subdomain.
So I mean there are different ways to set up a website when it comes to international SEO. So if you have like multi markets exposure, right? For example, you have like you are in Singapore, but you want to launch it to Malaysia or say Thailand. So clearly, I think having like a country code top level domain would be beneficial, because it's actually a country top level domain. So, but there's also other consideration also and other ways to set up, such as to create like a subfolder or to create like say a subdomain for each and every markets as well. So I think this is because we're only at the topic of a domain and in SEO, so that will be in the separate like topic altogether when it comes to international SEO and all.
All right, so changing domains. I'm pretty sure a few of y'all have been involved in like migrations or whatnot. So domain is another way of doing a migration. So the same process goes in when we're doing a site migration and changing domains. So you want to make sure that when you're changing domain, you want to make sure the URL is the new URL sounds good. It can migrate to the new domain. You want to make sure we redirect as per normal. We're going to redirect all the URLs. So if we have say koreanfood.com and want to go to koreanfood.net or something, want to change that brand or the direction, then we want to make sure everything on the koreanfood.com is redirected. All the URLs, all the internal links, everything is redirected to the new URL. And then after that, we want to go into Google Search Console, which is a Google product where we want to submit the URL and the sitemap, everything within Google. So they're able to pick up the new domain that we went through. And then from there, you would just monitor it through Google Analytics or Google Search Console to make sure the traffic doesn't just drop. If it drops, that means we probably didn't redirect something correctly. So this is one of the things that we want to make sure if a client, we're changing domains, just want to make sure all this is in place. All right. All right, so pretty much to improve your domain, it all comes back down to SEO. So all the best practices that we're using here at First Page, from making sure the titles, the descriptions are correct, making sure we have relevant content on the website so we have good user experience, and then also we try to make the best recommendations for the client if the client's website is not so user-friendly. So because it all plays a role when it comes to improving the domain. I mean, it's just the domain, but on top of that, you have the content, you have the backlinks, you have all the technical SEO, things like that. So yeah, so that's how it breaks down for improving the SEO for a domain. Questions? Oh, what was that?
Maybe over there.